Hi friends, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. It's time for another What Sold This Week video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Laura. I sell women's vintage clothing online on sites like Etsy and eBay, Poshmark and Depop, and I actually made a Poshmark sale this week. And I also sell on Whatnot, which is a live auction platform. It's so much fun. And every week I come here to YouTube to share haul videos with you, to let you know what I sold, how much I sold it for, and also just some general reseller and vintage clothing kind of chat every now and then. And today, it's a what sold video. So I'm going to start off with what I sold during my Whatnot show because I have to package all this stuff up. Um, today's show was pretty fantastic, although it took a real weird route getting there. But let's talk about numbers first. I sold a total of 27 items for $412 before fees. After fees, I should make $352.24. I have a total of 12 packages going out, and 6 of those packages are going to first-time buyers. So I once again have kind of a 50-50 split of repeat buyers and first-time buyers, which is, I think that's a really nice place to kind of like hang out. I'm going to go through everything that I sold and fold it up, and let's get into it. So the first item that I sold is going to a repeat buyer who purchased this Anthropologie. This is like a year 2000s sort of velvet blazer. I'm not going to show you the clothes a whole bunch because that's what my whole videos are for, and I have to get this I have to get this shit shipped out to the post office. So I'm going to kind of hustle through it a little bit. But this sold for $15, which is what I started the bidding at. If I don't specify whatever the sold price is what the bidding started at. But if it got bid up at all, I'll let you know what I started the bidding at and what it ultimately sold for. This jacket is really pretty. This was in my personal closet for a long time, but I basically have only one skirt that I wear it with, and I, have other things to wear with that skirt. So I think I decided it was time to let the blazer go. It's very pretty, and I do love it. But I needed inventory to stick in my show last week, so I pillaged my own closet. Anyway, this is really pretty. I love this thing. Today's show was fucking weird. I went through the first at least half an hour with, oh, hi, Riz, with nothing going on. No one was chatting. No one was requesting anything. Nobody was obviously bidding on anything. It was really, really dead. And I was contemplating just like ending the show. It was so dead. I was like, I don't know if I'm even going to sell a single freaking thing. I ended up doing very well, thankfully, but it was so strange. The next item that I sold is going to a repeat buyer who purchased one item. 25. I think that's over here. Nope. What? Oh, okay. Sorry. Can't see. This little vest. This is an adorable little sweater vest. I actually had this listed in my Depop shop for a long time. Both last week and this week, my thrifting trips were not super successful, so I had to pull from older inventory to be able to sort of bulk up my Whatnot show. This was one of those pieces. I've had it listed for a really long time. I think it's cute, but I pulled it. It sold on Whatnot for $15, which that's what the bidding started at. Oh, these bags don't want to cooperate today. Let's see. But this is really cute. So I'm happy that this is going out. And I kept a nice little list of everything that I pulled from Depop, so that I can go back and deactivate it later so that I don't accidentally sell it twice. Sorry, Rizzo. All right, let's see. Next up is a repeat buyer who purchased 3 items from me. Let's see. And the first, let me find one that's, I guess it doesn't matter. All right, so the first item that they purchased is this robe that I just picked up to my most recent thrift haul video. It's a 70s robe. Look at that karate robe tag. That's hysterical. And this sold for $15. My little plastic bags are all over the place. All right, this I'm not going to try, and I usually try to fold a specific way, and this is an open front robe and it's not going to cooperate with me too easily, so I'm just going to fold it the easy way. I feel like it's slightly less attractive, but in this instance it really doesn't matter. I can sandwich it among other things. This is so hairy right now. This is that type of 70s fleece that just like attracts hair. And Rizzo's been all over my folding table here. So let's see. Let's get this at least a little bit cleared up. Not that this buyer is not probably used to this. Everybody who attends my shows regularly, especially, is familiar with Rizzo at least. I have two cats, Rizzo and Skibbs. Skibbs does not really make a whole lot of appearances. He kind of keeps a very low profile when I'm doing shows and videos and stuff like that. But Rizzo is all in my business. Rizzo and Skibbs are mortal enemies, so they cannot be in the same space at the same time. So, oh, hello, ma'am. Speak of the devil. Are you stuck? There you go. Her little claw got stuck. You guys are almost able to see her, but not quite. Right, Biz? I'm not going to try and engage you to stay on this table, though, because I really would love to be able to fold on it. And she also really hates the lint roller. Okay, good. She left. I adore her, but so she's very interactive when I'm trying to ship things and fold them. All right, so that's the first item is this little robe. Got that all finally folded up. The second item that this buyer purchased, same color family, is this 90s limited, like the limited store, cotton roll neck sweater. This sold for $15. So that's nice. Again, I know you like, I had one person one time mention in a video that I wasn't showing the clothes during a what sold video. And so now I am forever scarred as though all of you are like, why aren't you showing the clothes? One person one time made one comment and I cannot let go of it. So sorry. I'm going to try to actively let go of that. All right, there we go. I want to show you all the tags and everything all the time. But number one, sometimes I feel like, especially if it's something that was just in a haul video, that you all are going to be like, you just showed us that 2 days ago, Laura. Or that, you know, I don't know, whatever. You're going to be bored with seeing things all the time. I don't know. Third item that this buyer purchased was this little Y2K stretchy mesh sweet pea tee. So cute. This was listed at $15, started the bidding at $15, and it sold for $17. So that was nice. And it was, you know, I showed it once and nobody bought it. And then somebody requested to see it. And then 2 people bid on it. So that was nice. Nice little surprises. All right, let's see. All 3 items. Can I get this into a bag that looks decent and not too squashy? I can. Yeah. Goodness, I probably need to order more bags soon. I have no good setup for my bags. They're all just like, I store them like this in a giant box, and then I go and dig them out of the box every time I have to do one of these shows. It's ridiculous. I need to find a nicer way to store them where they're easily accessible and I can tell what size is what. And I just have no way to do that right now. It's all just a big free-for-all. It's crazy. I purchased bubble wrap on eBay, and I get like the 750 feet. So it's like 2 giant rolls. And then those 2 rolls come in a big box. So right now I have the big box with the 2 rolls of bubble wrap. And then the bags of bags are just kind of like dropped down the corner sides in the box. It's very chaotic. Probably not surprising. Speaking of chaotic, my Whatnot show today. So it starts off super slow, right? Nobody's interacting. It's dead as fuck. And then I start getting a couple sales here and there. And then things pick up and it was really fun and interactive. Nikki Terry, who I've talked about before. Nikki Terry, she goes by Nikki Terry Vintage on Whatnot. But I believe on YouTube, her account name is Nikki Terry Style. And once again, I'll try to remember to tag her in comments, but you know me. But she came into my show and she was being chatty and interactive, which I was so fucking appreciative of because it really helped me out. I was tired. My brain wasn't working properly. I was real brain foggy and just felt discombobulated. So she really helped me out because she was giving me like some interaction and direction, which is so motivating. And then some other people started chiming in and we were talking about like way too long of a conversation about energy drinks and the different kinds and what they do to us and all that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of fun, but I also like admire her a lot. And I think it made me a little bit nervous. I've talked about this before, but she is part of a group on Whatnot called the Grow House. These 4 vintage sellers came together and made this like separate Whatnot account. And they basically work to help promote the vintage community. They work to help sellers build their businesses. They do like seller Q&As and they co-host shows with people. It's really cool. And Nikki did ask me if I would participate in a seller Q&A with her. So I'm doing that on Friday, November 14th at 1 p.m. And again, hopefully I'm going to try to remember to put everything in the comments so that if you want to come join that, you can bookmark the show, and it's just like hanging out, and there's all sorts of like giveaways and stuff. It's a lot of fun, and it's just like fun chit chat. But I really like her as a seller and as a, YouTube person. She hasn't been doing her YouTube as much lately, but she's got so many great like style videos and haul videos and thrift with me videos and stuff. And she's really fun, and I like her a lot. So I'm really excited to do that. And I was super grateful. I want to like make sure I reach out and thank her for participating in my show so much today, because it really did help me out. Let's see, my third package that I have to put together is a new to me buyer who purchased, let me just double check. She purchased 3 items. Okay, yes. I just wanted to make sure there weren't more that were like split out. She purchased 3 items. The first of which is this hand-dyed slip. I love this thing. This is like a 50s era slip, and you can see the dye is a little uneven. Oh, I love the way it takes up on the lace, though. It's so pretty. This sold for $15, so that was really fun. You got to come out here a little bit more, please. I had another day yesterday. I went thrifting. I didn't source enough stuff to be able to populate my inventory the way that I wanted to, so I had to like pull other stuff out of my whatever listings, but also just getting everything loaded up. I just was really dragging ass. I was having such a hard time yesterday. So, and what that looks like for me is I sit down and I have like my whatever. I had like, I think 20 things from sourcing, and I have them all sitting there, and I draft them into whatnot. I'm sitting there and I like type in the measurements and the title and whatever. When I'm really dragging ass, I sit there and I like type something in and I save it. And then I go to like look for what the next thing is. And I get real indecisive. Now I have 20 items sitting there. I know that all 20 of them are going to go in the show, but for some reason I am incapable of making a decision on like, what's the next item that I'm going to put in here. And I know it doesn't make any sense, because even to me, it's like, just pick one up and put it in there. But for some reason, it's like there's brakes being put on somewhere, and I'm looking at this pile of stuff and I'm like, I don't know what I should do next. And then I pick up my phone and start fucking around on that. And that process continues for like hours. And usually it's because I'm either tired or very demotivated or something. I now associate it with like a lack of dopamine. And I don't know if that's what it actually is, but that is a way of thinking about it that makes sense to me, right? Like there's not enough spark in my brain to make everything work. And it was just one of those days yesterday. So I'm dragging ass getting the drafts done. And then I get to a point where now I have to go and find inventory in my old listings, which I used my Vendu to help me do, thank God. But, I had to do that and then pull those pieces and load the photos in and then take photos and load those in. And every step in that process is just like another like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Right. And that's what yesterday was like. So I was up until like 2:30 or 3 in the morning. And because I was up until 2:30 or 3 in the morning, and because I powered my way through yesterday with too much caffeine and energy drinks, my brain is like, fuck you, I'm not participating today, when I was trying to do my show this morning. So that's kind of where we're at right now. The second item that this buyer purchased, the one I started talking about like half an hour ago, right, is this little Y2K era sweater. This is very cute. I got this from a friend of mine who was cleaning out her old closets and attic and all this kind of stuff. So that was nice. This is very cute. Moda International is the tag, and this sold for $15. So, in fact, did I? Yeah, no, it's just this one from her. I thought I sold another one of her sweaters today, but just this one. But this one is super cute. All right. That's a terrible fold job, but that's okay. And then the third item that this buyer purchased is this dress, which is stunning. I've been calling this the Death Becomes Her dress because that's just what it reminds me of. These shoulder things, they go kind of like, hold on. They go a little like off the shoulder looking like this. So it's really cool. This sold for $15. The sweater did as well. I don't know if I told you that. So that's cool. Very happy about that. But anyway, so yeah, it's really interesting. Like I find that the days that I have a particularly difficult time with getting my whatnot loaded up are days where I feel like my sourcing was not great. That definitely works against me. Or I don't know. I mean, probably just days if I'm just tired in general, but usually Wednesdays, I don't have too much of a hard time. Thursdays are hard because I usually have to stay up late the night before on Wednesdays, but I don't know. Wednesdays, I'm not necessarily tired, but the motivation is a huge thing for me. All right, let me get these packed up in a way that's nice and neat. And this dress has these like glitter sections and I don't want them. Hold on, let's see. All right, so you go there. And then we're gonna get you here. Yes, I'm talking to my inventory, okay? Okay, it's not the prettiest packaging, but it gets the job done. Everybody will get there safely. Squish all the air out. I know that you guys don't care about my timelines, but it's 2:40 right now. I like to get up to my post office lady. She closes at 4. So I feel like if I'm done with the packaging by 3, I'm usually pretty safe, but I feel like there's no fucking way I'm going to be done with the packaging by 3 today. Next up is a new to me buyer who purchased one item, this little t-shirt. This was also listed in my Depop. Everything that I pulled from Depop, this is just an 80s t-shirt. The tag was pulled out of it, but it's just a standard, nice and soft 80s t-shirt. Everything I pulled out of my Depop is stuff that I've never cross-posted, so it's only listed on Depop. And I don't do any of like the refreshing or bumping or editing or anything on Depop anymore. I don't know if that is still even beneficial. I feel like it's not necessary, but I also feel like it doesn't hurt if you're able to do it. But I don't do it. I was just thinking recently about switching my Vendu plan to do yearly plans, because yearly plans give you access to like kind of like bumping or refreshing feature for Depop and Poshmark and Mercari. I don't do Mercari, and probably other stuff that I don't do. But now Poshmark has been changing their model, and I don't know if the bumping thing is even helpful on Depop at this point. I mean, on Poshmark. So I probably should still switch to the yearly plan, because when you break it down by month, it's cheaper. I don't need all the listings that I'm currently paying for on Vendu as it is, but also yearly means you're paying everything at once, and that seems like a lot. All right, next up is another new to me buyer who purchased one item. Oh, cool, yeah. This very adorable little pastel blouse, and this sold for $15, which is what the bidding was started at. So anyway, yeah, the whole Whatnot show was super weird. I mean, I ended up being really enjoyable. People were very interactive. Another vintage seller that I love, Hammy Vintage, came and stopped in and said hello. So that was really nice as well. And then there were like a bunch of, don't you fall over, please. A bunch of like regular buyers and things like that. It's just the beginning of it was so just dead. For me, like there were people in there watching, but I just felt like, nothing was going on. And again, if I don't expect my buyers to participate, and I know that not everybody can. When I'm watching a show, I am frequently not very participatory because it's a lot. You have to dedicate all of your attention to like commenting and watching, and like you can't really you can have it on in the background, but then you can't see what the items are, So I certainly do not fault anyone for not participating and chatting and all that business. But, just there's some days where it's like, it's just really, it's nice. It gives you something to focus on and topics to talk about. I should put this in a slightly larger bag. This bag's too small. I was trying to stick this shirt into a really little bag, and I could have done it, but it would have looked janky. All right, let's see. Nice little, yeah, baby. So cute. All right, next. New to repeat buyer for me who purchased one item. Oh, and this is awesome jacket, which I'm very happy that it sold. I had this originally in my like witchy themed Whatnot show, and I thought this was so cool, but people just kept passing it up, which is fine. This sold for $20. That is what I started the bidding at. I know I usually start a little bit lower, but this thing I think I paid like $9 for this. So, you know, I had to bump up the price to be able to actually make money. So let's see. Let me get this folded up. This is so cute. All right. Go. Very pretty. I'm very relieved that the show went well today. I've also had some other decent sales this week, so you guys will see that after this. But it was a surprisingly nice week. All right, next up is a repeat buyer for me who purchased one item. And this one was a little surprising. Let's see. So this skirt, which I just sourced yesterday, it's really adorable. And I started the bidding at $15 for this. I ran it once. Nobody bought it. And then somebody ended up requesting that I show it a little while later. I ran it a second time, and then it sold for $25. So it got bid up from 15 to 25, which if you are newer here, that's a lot for me on Whatnot. So I was happy about that. Also, like, I mean, I get it because I think this skirt's so freaking cute. And part of me was like, I should keep that skirt. But, you know, I say that about tons of my inventory. But I thought it was really cute when I found it, of course. But when I modeled it, I was like, oh, this is nice. Like, it was longer than I expected it to be because it was marked as a petite size. And so it was like a little bit of a longer midi skirt for me. So I think that it probably was meant to be a maxi skirt on a petite person, I guess. So I thought it was a midi skirt. And so I was expecting it to be like a little below the knee on me. And it was like just right above the ankle. Next up, Whatnot is saying that this is a new to me buyer. I feel like it's not, but we'll go with it. And they purchased one item from me. Oh, Rizzo's losing her mind. There's a good squirrel or somebody on the windowsill. This sheer floral blouse. This is absolutely gorgeous. There's the tag. And this sold for $15. That's nice. Let's see. Rizzo, who's out there? What's going on? I'm telling you, if Rizzo would shoot out of that screen. If I opened the window and just had the screen between her and whatever she was stalking, she'd be out. All right, let's see. Get this blouse folded up. I kind of want to get like real old school aluminum screens. But I also then feel bad because I feel like, you know, because it's kind of like weird to look through those. Like you can't see through them super well. And I don't know what Cat vision is like, but she loves watching stuff. And I feel like those screens really obscure vision. So, but also without it, I can't open the window enough for her. Like I'll crack it like this so that she can't get through. But, you know, I don't trust her. Next item is a new to me buyer who purchased one item. Another thing I thought about keeping. You may recognize this from the thumbnail of my last video, but it's this adorable little hat. This thing is so freaking cute. And this sold for $15. I think I started the bidding a little bit lower on this one. I think I started it at 10, but I'm not 100% positive, but it sold for 15. So yes, in fact, I did start it at 10 because I remember the person who requested that, I was like, oh, this will be so cute on her. And then somebody else wanted it. So yes, got bid up to 15. Let's see. And then next up is a new to me buyer who purchased one item. It's this t-shirt that has been in a bunch of shows at this point. I thought this was so freaking cute. It's a Y2K era shirt. And it's got little like rhinestones embedded in it. So cute. There's the tag. And I was like surprised it didn't sell in the first like one or two shows, but it finally sold today. So I'm very happy about that. It's so adorable. And this sold for $15. So yay. And I can't believe I now have one package left to wrap up, but that one package has 12 items in it. This buyer is a freaking rock star. It is a repeat buyer for me. And 12, I mean, it's amazing. I was so relieved too, because when I was sitting there with like cricket, no sales happening. And then this buyer purchased like a couple of items. And so like the first several items that were purchased at all were because of this buyer. And I was totally resigned to the fact that like, I was like, okay, thank goodness, because now at least it'll be like a $50 show for me. But thankfully things picked up. So let me get a little sip before we get into, so good. Okay. Let's see what we've got. All right. So first item that this buyer purchased, this top, which was a Depop pull. So this is really adorable. This sold for $15. And some of these things that I'm pulling off of Depop, I had them listed at like, you know, this one might have been listed like $29, which includes shipping. But generally they mostly was stuff that was in like the, you know, $39 or less, including the shipping. There may have been pieces that were a little bit higher, but I don't know. I mostly went through and looked for items that were only listed on Depop, that I had never cross-posted, and that I felt like were exciting enough to give a good boost to the show, but I also wasn't going to stick in any like rare $100 pieces, you know? So second item, another Depop piece. This is a really cool shirt that I dyed. This was originally black and white, and it's like a 70s, 60s, 70s polyester. But I can't remember if there was color bleed or some sort of weird issue. So I ended up dyeing it and I really liked how it came out. This sold for $15. Both of these pieces I got originally back in 2020 from this giant warehouse sale of like amazing stuff. God, I should go back and watch those whole videos myself. I doubt I'll remember to tag those videos here. I'd have to find them first. But they were really fun. The third item that this buyer purchased was this robe. This was also a Depop pull, and just a really sweet little vintage robe. I don't remember where I got this. I pick stuff like this up a lot. I've thrifted a bunch of stuff like this in the past. I've done, I think I got it from some sort of larger estate sale, or like I've had a couple of times where I had, you know, like somebody's attic gifted to me. And I say a couple of times, which sounds like I get lucky a lot. It was the same family with two different houses. That's all it was. So I may have gotten it from one of those, but I don't totally remember. Anyway, this sold also for $15. Yeah. And it was another Depop pull. So let's see. And so the reason that it's easy to do with Vendu is I go through Vendu, and Vendu lets you filter out the import origin of the item. So I use that. I filter out all the items that were imported from Vendu, and then I just scroll through the list and look for stuff that's still only listed on Vendu. All right, let's see. I mean, only listed on Depop, you know. Next up, same buyer, is this shirt. This I got from that plus size estate sale haul that I did recently. I feel like I've been tagging that in tons of videos lately because I sold a lot of stuff from it. This is like a 70s era, like bowling style shirt. And this sold for $15. So it's very cool. Let's see. Let's get this here. Fold it up nice and neat. This isn't too bad. I don't want to like jinx myself, but I said if I'm done by 3 with the video, then I should be okay with shipping. It's $2.53, and I'm like, I might actually be done by 3. Next item that this buyer purchased is this like gauzy 70s blouse, and this sold for $15. I'm going to show you the tag because it's cool. Right there. It's just like a real cotton gauzy type of blouse. So let's see. But yeah, and then in addition to the show today being so incredibly slow, also I spilled my energy drink onto the floor. So then I had to like run. I mean, I spilled a lot of it. I had to run to go get paper towels to like clean up the mess. Miraculously, it did not get on any inventory. I spilled it very close to, you know, when I sell something, I move it to the end of the rack. I spilled it very close to where all of that stuff was hanging, and nothing got wet. Thank goodness. And none of the you know, none of the unsold stuff did either, but at least the unsold stuff, I would have just, like, if it was really soaked, I would have just pulled it and not shown it. Oh, good. I thought there was a hole in there for a second. There's not. All right, let's see. Next up, same buyer, purchased this blouse, which this was in my own personal closet for a long time. It's just got like a bunch of abstract kind of different flags from different countries all over. It's really cool. And this sold for $15. I originally got this blouse from, we had gone to a town-wide yard sale, and one of the first houses that we came across, it was a woman who sold on Etsy who was liquidating, I don't know if all of her Etsy inventory, but like a lot of her inventory. And so she's basically doing like a yard sale with tons of women's vintage clothing. I was in heaven. And I bought this shirt from her and with the intention to resell it. But then I tried it on and I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I don't normally go for this type of colors. I'm a lot more pastel-y. But I really loved it. And so then I decided, okay, I'm just going to keep it for a bit. But I just don't wear it enough. Let's see. Next is another Depop pull. This very cool skirt. And this sold for $15. Man, I was surprised that Depop didn't split up this package either, but it's not even going to be all that big, I don't think. All right, and then the next item, no, that has to stay there. It can't be stacked. That this buyer purchased is this thing, which is another, I also got this from the plus size vintage estate sale. This is gorgeous. I love it. I have not understood why it hasn't sold before now, but it sold now. And this sold for $15, which is pretty much what I assumed, but that's, had to double check. This is really cute. I love the print on it and the colors and everything. It's so good. I took up too much of my table space with the already folded stuff, so now it's awkward. But at least Rizzo is entertained and looking at squirrels, so I don't have to fight with her in addition to not having enough space. All right, and then the next item that this buyer purchased is this. I don't know if it's like a swimsuit cover-up or a bathrobe or something. It's really cool. This sold for $15, which is what I thought. Reminds me of fruit stripe gum, doesn't it? If you don't know what fruit stripe gum is, you can Google it. Just old people gum. Yes, we're old people. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to fold this. It does not want to cooperate, but it's gonna cooperate because we're not going to play this game. We're not going to play this game. It's like, yes, we are. Let's see. There's that. Trying to straighten all this out. It does not want to cooperate, but it's doing it. There we go. Okay. I cannot wait to print all this shipping, walk it up to the post office, and then come home and become an absolute vegetable. I am very excited to do that. Vegetable. I'm going to fold this the opposite way. There we go. Perfect. All right, next item. Same buyer still, because this is my final buyer. This skirt, which I love. I don't remember where I got this from at all. Again, I believe it was one of the gifted houses, the gifted attics from my friend, but some kind of very large estate sale. And I have had this in and out of 852 bajillion shows. I love it. I've never understood why it wasn't selling. It used to have a liner in it, and the liner just was like weird and too narrow for the skirt. It was very strange. So I ultimately finally took it out very recently. But I've still had this in a bunch of shows, 3 or 4, I think. It sold for $15 today. I've been very surprised that it didn't sell earlier, but I'm glad it sold. So let's see. Did I miss something? All right, I'll figure it out afterwards. Let's see. Next item that this buyer purchased was this cute dress. I thrifted this recently. Cute little 70s dress. Love it. This sold for $15. I'm confused because I have this skirt sitting here as though it sold, but I only have this and one more item to wrap up. So either I skipped somebody by accident or I didn't sell that skirt. I'm not sure which one. I'll figure it out one way or the other, but come here, dress. All right, let's see. All these little ties. All right. Cute. There you go. And then the final item that this buyer purchased, I believe, is this slip, another hand-dyed beauty. And this sold for $15. And that should be everything. But why is Liz Claiborne still sitting here? So we'll see. I may have just accidentally skipped over if it was a person who purchased a single item. But I honestly don't know. Sometimes too, like if somebody purchases something and their payment didn't go through before the show ends, then it basically is unsold. But I don't think that was the issue with that. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I'm just looking for this skirt. Nope. No. Nope. Nope. No. I know this is riveting for you. Nope. Nope. Okay. I don't know. I don't see it. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Okay. Let's see if I can get these into a bag. So anyway, that's everything I sold during my Whatnot show. That was really nice. I'm very grateful for it. Also by the, wait, I told you I spilled my energy drink. Did I tell you I knocked my laptop on the floor? I don't know if I got to that. I was showing a very heavy sweater, the limited roll neck gold kind of sweater. And I bonked my laptop and the whole thing just slid down onto the floor. And like, thankfully it slid like back first. So it just like collapsed down. But it was like, oh my God, that laptop has fallen on the floor so many times. It's embarrassing. Sometimes it's been Rizzo's fault. Sometimes she like launches herself around the room like a kamikaze and knocks things down. But I'm going to put these in a separate bag. But today was totally my fault. So, all right. Anyway, I guess you don't need to keep sitting around while I try and shove things into bags. That's everything that I sold on Whatnot. So I'm going to go print all these labels out. It's 3:03. How amazing is that? You are going to hang tight because for you, it's going to be like half a second and I'm going to tell you what I sold on all the other platforms. For me, I'm going to like turn into a vegetable for about 12 hours and then come back and tell you what I sold on the other platforms, but hang tight. All right, let's see what I sold on all of my other platforms. I was all stoked because I was feeling like this is really like an amazing week. There were a couple of really good sales, but the number of sales overall was not fantastic. So first up, we're going to go with Etsy. This item may look familiar to you. That is because I sold it, I don't know, week, 2, 3 weeks ago, but it has been returned. So this is actually a negative on my books. It ended up being like, I don't know, after shipping, and oh, I wrote it down. What am I doing? No, I didn't. I did write it down. After shipping and Etsy fees and all that stuff, like I ended up refunding like $54 or something like that. So yay for me, starting off the week with a minus. But moving on to some good sales. Next up on Etsy is this vintage sleeping bag. This thing was really cool. I've had this for several years. I'm trying to figure out like which of these photos is good to show you, but this is basically kind of just a closer up version of the print. I don't know where we are. I mean, they're all closer up versions. Oh, here we go. That's sort of a more broad view of the sleeping bag. It was really cool. I don't remember if this has a tag or not. It has metal zippers, which was really neat. As you can see, I had it listed for $139. The buyer did not use any kind of coupon. I pay shipping for Etsy. I did bump this up to priority. I don't remember how much ground shipping was, but priority was $12.07. So I made $126.93. And of course, that's just the sold price minus shipping. It's not counting like Etsy fees or cost of goods or any of that stuff, right? So that was that. Really cute. Look at this cute little patch that was on it too. War is not healthy for children and other living things. So cute. Anyway, next, moving along. Oh, where did we go? This is the next item I sold on Etsy, a vintage souvenir tee from Weir's Beach, Lake something or other in New Hampshire. I don't know what that all says. Winnipesaukee? I don't know if I got that right. Anyway, I had this listed for $29. The buyer did not use any kind of coupon at all. Here's the tag because they're always fun to look at. Shipping on this was $4.54. So I made $24.46. Big money. All right. But I still love the sales. Always happy. And it was a cute little t-shirt. I don't remember where I got it. It doesn't really matter. It's just adorable. Next up, we're going to move to eBay. Another really nice little sale. This was a Johnny Was tracksuit. So it's a modern piece. It's not vintage, but Johnny Was makes a lot of really cool vintage looking stuff, but also I know that it sells really well. I like some of the older Y2K Johnny Was stuff. They had a lot of really cool like embroidered t-shirts, like really detailed. They were amazing. But this is not that. This is just a tracksuit. I just knew that it would be valuable. I think I paid like $15 for this when I purchased it. I had it listed for $179. The buyer sent me an offer for $161, about 10% off, which obviously super reasonable. I accepted it. The buyer pays shipping, so I made $161 on this before fees. So it was really cool. Well, let me see where the tag is. Do we care? Johnny Was tag. All right, next up, also on eBay, is just a little black and gold sweater. I had this listed for $29.99, and I sent out offers for 20% off. So $23.99. The buyer accepted it. I paid shipping. I'm sorry, the buyer pays shipping. So I made $23.99 on this one. I don't think there was a tag. Oh, yeah, there is. That's the tag in the sweater. So I made $23.99. Next up, another eBay sale. This one was crazy. This is a scarf that I got from a friend of mine, and it took me forever to list it. I wrote a draft for it ages ago, and then I finally took pictures the other day, and I loaded the photos up, published it. Here's the tag, a scarf by Kimball Silk. It's like a mid-century era, really cute. It had a couple of little flaws. That's just mostly showing the rolled hem, but there was some of these little it's not really a snag. It's just sort of the weave of the fabric separates a little bit, which happens on some of these older silk scarves sometimes. Like here's other, you can see down here, it did it, and over here. And also the giraffe had a little bit of discoloration in it. So I documented all of that. I had this listed for $49. I swear to God, I listed it, and within like 15 minutes of me listing it, it just sold at full price. So yay, it's fantastic. Buyer paid shipping, so I made $49 on this. So that was pretty amazing. What might be even more amazing is that I also had a Depop sale and a Poshmark sale, but we're going to get to that in a second. So this Depop sale, another item that might look familiar from another recent sold video, but that's because I had two of these. I got it from the plus size estate sale that I went to. I feel like I've been talking about that estate sale so much recently. I know I got a lot of stuff from it, but a lot of stuff has also been selling from it, I guess. So this was new in package, really easy to photograph. I mostly took like a front, back, and then some detail shots essentially. And I listed it for $29. The buyer sent me an offer for $20, which I accepted. I pay shipping for Depop, so shipping was $4.91. So I made $15.09. Depop doesn't really have seller fees. I do have to pay like a payment processing fee, but that's like, I don't know, like 3%-ish, something like that, right? So that's okay. Still not a ton of money on this, but that's okay. This was just a nice bonus pickup with a whole bunch of other stuff from that estate sale. And finally, my Poshmark sale. This is a set of 2 vintage Corning bowls. So these were military, like mess hall kind of bowls. They're really, I don't know that you can really get a full, oh, let's see, can we go down here this way? It's hard to get the full picture. Like it's a really thick milk glass kind of bowl, very heavy, very sturdy. I listed a pair of them for $49. The buyer just purchased them outright, no offers or anything. Buyer pays shipping on Poshmark, but Poshmark does have a really big fee. They take 20%. So I know I don't normally include fees in my like how much I made, but because Poshmark tells you in your sold item notification, there was no shipping, no discount. So I made $49, but after fees, it was $39.20. So these were such cool bowls. I'm really glad that they found a home. And I feel like Poshmark shipping is probably better for buyers than other shipping platforms. I think it's like 6 and change. I don't remember where these went, but it was probably a pretty good shipping price. And that is everything that I sold on all of the other platforms for the rest of the week. So, I think that I made a decent number of sales because I had a good little chunk of listing activity, which I've kind of like fallen back out of again. I've been listing, but not as much. I think I had a day or two where I did. I mean, it's not like I listed 700 things. I listed like less than 10 things, but I did a good amount of work. So anyway, that's everything that I sold. So I hope that you found this video informative or helpful or entertaining or noise making at least. And I appreciate you watching it. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much.